in this session we shall carry that through, that is make a dynamic model of the DC motor, which will complete our discussion on the DC motor, and then we shall take up a new topic, and that is on 3-phase systems. So, first the DC motor. So, we have been studying quite at length about the DC motor. We are familiar with the symbology. We have the armature, and to the armature is attached the brushes through the commutator, and we have two non-idealities in the dynamic case. One is RA and the other is LA. RA is the winding equivalent winding resistance of the armature. LA is the equivalent inductive reactance of the armature. Now, this is the DC motor which has a mechanical shaft, and we said that in the case of the motor, the energy is moving from the electrical domain to the mechanical domain, and the mechanical loading gets reflected on the electrical domain as back EMF across the brushes. Now, we apply a voltage EA, and there is a armature current IA which is flowing through it. This is RA and LA, and then in the mechanical domain we have a torque Tg which is getting generated, and because of the torque Tg there is a speed, angular speed of rotation omega in radians per second, or speed n in RPM, which gets generated. Now, this is on the mechanical domain. Now, this mechanical domain also contains its own load or the reflected inertia J, which is like the mass of a vehicle or the mass of the load or a mass of a very big wheel, which has an inertia to it, and then when it is rotating it gets stored in the kinetic form, and that is called the inertial energy, which is stored by virtue of an object being in motion, which we know that it is stored in the kinetic energy form, and therefore, J or the inertial parameter is similar to L, the inductive parameter, and therefore, the state variable in the case of the mechanical domain which is involved with the parameter J would be omega, the speed. There could also be at the bearings some friction associated, and we will call it as a friction B. Now, this is the electrical domain, and this on the right side we have the mechanical domain. The link between the electrical and the magnetic domain is the motor. There is a back EMF, we said, and this back EMF can be expressed in terms of the mechanical domain parameter or mechanical domain state variable, and that is K phi omega. We saw this in an earlier discussion. So, that is equal to the back EMF. The torque component here, the torque that is generated can be related to the state variable on the electrical side by the same K what we have written phi I A. Now, as we are doing dynamic model, we do not want to take the RMS values, let us take the instantaneous values. So, therefore, I will replace these by the instantaneous values. So, we have E A, we have I A and E B. So, this is the relationship. Now, we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law to the electrical domain here. You see that the applied voltage is E A, there is a voltage drop R A, there will be a drop across the L A inductor, and then of course, there is a drop that gets developed across the brushes because of the rotation of the armature, that is the generated EMF or the back EMF, and that is called E B. So, therefore, we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law in this area, in this electrical area. Likewise, on the mechanical area, the mechanical side also, one can apply equivalent to the Kirchhoff's voltage law, the potentials or the potential variable being torque. The speed is common, like the current being common in the electrical circuit, the speed is common to all the things connected to the shaft of the armature. The sum of the potentials, which means in this case the torque, should be equal to 0 like the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So, the generated torque is T G should supply J d omega by dt and also b omega, and if there is any other load torque, that component also. Okay. So, we are applying the Kirchhoff's voltage law on both the electrical domain and the mechanical domain with the state variables. Which are the state variables? On the electrical domain, we have one dynamic element L A with associated state variable I A, and then we have J as another dynamic variable in the mechanical domain, which is the reflected inertia, and then the associated state variable omega. So, we have two state variables at this point. Now, there is one more issue, and that is phi. How are we generating phi? Because the excitation, the field is being generated differently with respect to different topologies of the motor, as we saw in the case of the shunt motor, the series motor, compound motor, the phi is being generated separately. So, which means as far as this motor is concerned, there is one more input which is phi that we need to take care. So, first let us consider the case of the shunt motor, where phi is a constant, or a separately excited motor where phi is a constant, we are not touching phi. So, under that condition, we can now write the equations. Now, the electrical domain side first. So, we have L A d I A by dt. So, the voltage across that is E A minus R A, E A minus I A R A minus E B. But E B can be expressed in terms of the state variable, which is given by k phi omega. So, which is E A minus k minus I A R A minus k phi omega. So, for the moment we are considering phi as a constant, that is this. Let us take this, copy. So, we go to the next page. Yes. So, Now, on the mechanical side there is a generated torque Tg. Now, this is going to supply the inertial component d omega by dt, which is similar to L di by dt, plus I R A equivalent to the resistive drop is B omega in the mechanical domain. Now, plus any other load torque, any other load torque which may be applied to the mechanical shaft. All this should be generated by Tg. So, J d omega by dt will be equal to Tg. Now, Tg can be expressed as K phi I A in terms of the state variables K phi I A minus B omega minus T load. So, as a mechanical input to the system there is T load, and as electrical input to the system we have E A. So, combining these two we have d I A by dt equals, look at this, E A by L A, R A by L A into I A, and K phi by L A into omega. So, I will rewrite it as minus R A by L A into I A minus K phi by L A into omega plus 1 by L A into E A. So, this is one equation. Then we have d omega by dt, which is the mechanical equation. So, we have for the state variable I A K phi by j, K phi by j into I A minus B by j into omega minus 1 by j into T load. This is the second equation, that is, this equation has been rewritten in this form. These two equations completely define the dynamics of the motor. Now, if it is a separately excited motor or a shunt motor, where we can assume phi to be a constant, then we can write it in the standard form of I A dot d phi by dt omega dot d omega by dt, which is equal to minus R A by L A minus K by L A, K by j, K phi by j, this is, and minus B by j, I A and omega being the state variables in the state vector, plus 1 by L A minus 1 by j, sorry, zero and minus 1 by j, because, and then we have two inputs E A and T load. So, this is of the form x dot is equal to A x plus B u, the standard form. Now, if phi is not a shunt but let us say a series motor, in that case phi itself is a function of Ia. So, which means here phi becomes proportional to Ia, which results in, let us say this becomes now K1 Ia, K1 Ia. So, we do not, because there is now state multiplication, Ia into omega, Ia into Ia, this is Ia square, this is a non-linear system. Therefore, we do not put it in the standard matrix form, we just leave it as differential equation system. So, that would become a non-linear system, but still that would give you the entire dynamic model of the DC motor system. So, the phi should appropriately be modified, whether it is a constant or whether it is now a function of Ia or so or any other variables, that should automatically be put in there, and that will give you the complete dynamic model of the DC motor in the state space form or differential equation form. Okay. So, with that we conclude our discussion on DC motors. The DC generators and DC motors are a class by themselves. They both are similar machines, similar in structure, but the only difference being that in the case of the DC generator, the energy being input on the mechanical domain, you are taking out the energy in the electrical domain, and therefore, from the electrical domain point of view, it is a generator. And in the case of the DC motor, you are applying the energy input in the electrical domain and taking out the energy in the mechanical domain. But constructionally, both the machines are very similar, and a DC generator can be operated as a DC motor and DC motor as a DC generator, vice versa. Internally inside the machine, inside the armature, the currents that are flowing in the coil are always AC, but only by means of the device called the commutator, which we have discussed, and the brush combination. External to the motor in the electrical circuit or external to the generator in the electrical circuit, the signals are DC. Otherwise, within the motor, it is always an AC signal.